We are live. Welcome to ThursDIAZ. I'm Beto Duran. As always, thank you for watching us on YouTube. Make sure to click the like button, share, subscribe, share with everybody else. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you as always. And make sure to rate, review on iTunes and Spotify. He is back. He has returned. Roberto Diaz is back to ThursDIAZ. Roberto is back. He's feeling good. He's indoors. It's because of the fires around you. So that's why you haven't been.
Guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, because Razzo was already.
Razzo was ready.
Razzo was always comfortable.
Yeah, and but Roberto, you missed.
Yeah, there's some major fires going on out here by the mountains, and it's been really bad. I mean, the smoke. You can go outside, but I closed the patio area, so that's not. We can really get going, man. I miss you guys.
Oh, see, hopefully your connection stays good. So yeah, the fires are around you. You're safe in that area as we are going. And Joel Diaz is here. And Joel, I know that you're having a birthday party for your dog right now. For Ali, it's his birthday, right?
It's Ali's birthday today. Well, I mean, this month Celeste's birthday, and today Ali's. Man, they had to go. They want to go get him a cake for the dog.
Yeah, I'm showing the picture right now. It's your dog's birthday. Ali is there. They haven't even given you any food yet, huh? But you're over here celebrating the dog.
He's right here. He's right under me. Everybody's out there, and he's right here. He's right here.
And Beto's ready to go. All right, now we got a feedback. Who's got the feedback? Is it Roberto? All right.
It might be me because I don't have the headphones. They're looking for headphones.
There it is.
They're looking for headphones for me.
Oh, my God. There we go. All right, so what's up, everybody in Modesto? As always, we get going. Roberto wasn't around a couple weeks ago. Roberto, did you hear what happened?
No.
Oh, so you haven't heard about me telling off everybody that was watching the show?
No.
And
no pasó nada, hombre.
Yeah, well,
was it the day that a little bit too much tequila because the next day you played golf and were dying?
Look.
La botella is done, Roberto. Yeah.
I can't see Beto.
Oh, you can't see me, Roberto? What's going on with your connection here? We see you, Roberto.
I only see Joel.
All right, well, you see Joel?
In a big screen.
All right, well, you see him. So, but yeah, you're good, Roberto. We see you. But yeah, that was the night where Roberto will fill you in because last week's show I apologized. And then that show that night, I finished the bottle that Salem was telling me I couldn't finish. The bottle that everybody... and I basically told everybody I was done with the show. I got to play golf the next day with Razzo. All that other stuff. And the last half hour was me saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. How dare you? Don't ever question me. It's done. So that episode has been deleted. It doesn't show up anymore, but it's legendary. I went to the Thompson show and Danny Zamora and Jeanette Gonzalez were saying, so Beto, we need a link to that. I'm like, nope. You got to watch ThursDIAZ live because you never know what you're going to miss. But it was all fun because everybody here, Roberto, they're a bunch of bullies. They were telling me that I couldn't finish the bottle. Like, they didn't believe in me. And
Roberto, but he forgot. When he started the show, Roberto, he showed the bottle, right? Watch, this is what happened. At the beginning of the show, he shows the bottle and he shows the quantity of tequila he had, right? And he says, Coach, I'm going to finish it today. And I go, I mean, come on. I know the bottle is this wide. The content of the tequila, it was quite a bit. So I go, Beto, that's a lot of tequila. He goes, oh, no, I got this. I go, you're going to finish it? He says, yeah. I go, Beto, it's a lot of tequila. He goes, I got this. So as the show went on, he was drinking, and he wasn't even, I mean, there was not much difference, Roberto. He just kept drinking. And then towards the end, he started taking some shots, and then he started going down and down, even towards the end. Towards the end, he didn't want to finish the last two shots. I go, hey, you say you were going to finish? Let's finish it. So he did, but it was a lot of tequila, Roberto. He downed it all, but it was a lot. The quantity of the content was a lot. So he finished it, but the next day...
That's why the next day he couldn't golf.
No, como que no? I showed up. I showed up right on time. I was right there.
I got videos if you want to see.
But I seen videos donde he's like, he got a body shot by Beck the Bully, and he's like,
It was Roberto. It was hot. It was hot that day. It was hot.
It was hot.
But I showed up.
It was a good show. A lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people enjoyed it. I mean, they actually saw Beto having a great time.
Yeah.
You know, he just loosened up. The tequila. Dicen que el tequila afloja todos los zapatos, Roberto.
Eso sí.
So yeah, so Roberto, yeah, that was a good episode. It was we did all that, we did Q&A, so it was all questions for Joel back and forth, and it was good. It was good vibe, good attitude. But that's why you got to watch ThursDIAZ live, because you never know what you might miss. And everybody's saying, "Oh, Beto, I want to see you drunk." No, you don't. Because no, you don't. That's why last week's show I apologize. So while Roberto's worried about putting out fires, I was worried about putting out fires in my career to make sure that nobody sees that video. So there you go. El TMZ got me. So there, it's we're figuring things out. All right, Coach. What are you drinking right now on Ali's birthday?
Oh, you see a chilled bottle of Don Julio 70. Oh man, it's chilled. It was in the freezer. So I'm just having straight Don Julio 70 chilled.
Ay, muy nice, muy nice. And Roberto, what do you have?
I opened up a little bottle of
Oh, he's freezing. Oh, did we lose him? I think we lost Roberto.
We lost him.
Oh, we lost him. He was ready to show us one of his expensive bottles. Let me try to dial him back in. He's there. So he'll be able to get with us. All right, so we'll figure that out with him. We'll get his connection back in. And for me, I am drinking a bottle of, where am I at? Oh, here we go. I was drinking it last night. El Tesoro Tequila, Coach. A friend of mine does the PR for them, Blanco, and we just started making drinks last night. So last night I had my own tequila Zoom party. I invited Razzo and a bunch of friends from TV. And, Coach, la gente celosa, I tell you. Because I got all these messages of like, hey, on your Zoom party, you invited all these people. Well, I'm like, hey, these are people that I'm on TV with. Everybody there had a TV connection, and a couple people were like, what about Razzo? He's not on TV. I was like, no. He's not on TV. He's on ThursDIAZ, even bigger. Yeah. He's worldwide. He is worldwide, Razzo. So we did that. So I'm having a little of that. They taught us how to make the drinks last night. I have the Topo Chico, all that other stuff. I got the squirt. So I'll be making some drinks tonight. Calmado, all that other good stuff. So we'll figure things out as Roberto's trying to reconnect with us. So bear with us. All right. So right now, Coach, give us the update on what you've been doing, what was going on with the gym, and the fighters that you got.
Well, the gym is moving along really well. I had a structural engineer coming in last weekend. A structural engineer came and checked, make sure that the building is good to keep working, and everything's great. Minor upgrades, But other than that, the contractor told me, man, I was actually nervous that he was asking us for more requirements in the building, but no. The structural engineer, a great guy, came in and inspected the entire building, told me that the structure is great, that they just finished the part that was burned, and all that. They did a great job. The framers did a great job. And now the parking, the handicap parking is done. The sidewalk for wheelchairs is done. All the signs for handicap are already up to code.
Oh, that's what they were making, those blue marks. Mm-hmm. Okay. I saw the beginning of it. I didn't see the finished product.
Yeah, because on the floor plans, since it's an older building, they wanted me to redo the floor plans and submit them with up to code. So now all we're working on right now, they're working on the bathrooms. We need to have 2 bathrooms, also with handicap access. And once that's done, and inspector comes, and the reason why things are moving slowly, because since everything's closed, even at the city, everything's closed, you have to call and set up an appointment for inspection. So it's not like before that you will go to the office and say, what, I need inspection, and they'll come in. Now it's like you have to call or send an email and request inspection, and then they'll tell you, okay, well, we're open this day, and we have to wait 2-3 days. But everything's moving along really well. I'm happy. As far as fighters, right now we're just training. We don't have no dates.
Okay. So you're not going to the bubble anytime soon?
No, I don't have any any plans of going in a bubble anytime soon.
All right. Now, Eddie Aguilera, boxing champion. Of course, he wants to talk about this guy because he was wearing his shirt. Flores fought this past weekend. Who is he? What did he do?
Manny Flores is a kid that grew up here in Coachella. All his family are from Coachella. This kid, Emmanuel Flores, one of the best kids Antonio's had in his camp. Antonio started training him since he stepped foot in the ring for the first time, and that kid really evolved in the sport really well. Strong, smart. He hits really hard with both hands. He's a southpaw, very composed, great-looking kid, and very respectful, good manners, very humble kid. And he had some issues. He signed with a manager as he turned pro, and the manager, really didn't do much for him. So he was sitting for almost 2 years. And now that it's been a long time, and got him out of the contract, so took over the kid, and now got him a fight. And good thing it was a televised event, a top rank event, and he showed the quality of fighter he is, man. We got a lot of great feedback on him, and a lot of fans. Everybody that saw the fight.
Yeah, because he fought an undefeated fighter, also a Puerto Rican kid, but who was from Ohio. That he was the top ranked kid, right? Like they were looking at him. So it was. Mm-hmm. This is what we talked about too, where you got to be ready at all times. So how did this fight come up for this kid that you have, Flores?
Well, I was offered the fight because I started looking around. We try to put our fighters. We try to get them some activities. A lot of fighters that I have that.
I don't know what happened, guys. Sorry.
Oh, what happened? So we have Roberto going on, but now we need Coach. All right. Yep. So Roberto's in.
We lost Coach.
All right. Hold on. Let me get this call. All right. So there's Roberto.
Could you have booted me out, or did it just...
I don't know. All right, let me call you right back, Roberto.
Okay.
All right. Is the live still going on? Okay, so the live is still going on. So let me show you here. All right, so we're still doing this, right? All right, I see the comments coming through. Razzo is the one that's going on. He's messing everything up. Let me ring the group. Sorry, so we're still live, right? Tell me if I'm still live with you guys right now, as we lost the connection to. It's quiet tonight, so you hear the feed, but you see the feed. Tonio's the one that messed it all up. So you guys just talk amongst yourselves. All right, so I'm calling everybody. And Joel hung up. All right, yeah. All right, let's see here. All right, do we got it? Okay, Coach is here.
I'm here.
No, Roberto's not here. So Roberto something's going on. All right. See, Razzo is the one that's messing it up. All right, so Roberto is on the call. So just to give you guys behind the scene, everybody says none of this happens when Razzo is on the show. That it's still good when Razzo's here. Well, what happened to Razzo starting his own show, right? I thought Razzo was going to do his own show, Coach.
I think Razzo's doing his own, and he's already interfering so that we don't do ours. He's blocking us.
All right, so we are still live, and this is why you got to watch ThursDIAZ live, because you never know what might happen. You're watching me figure out technical difficulties as we're coming in right now, and you know what, Razzo? All right, so Razzo's here. Coach, we're going to try Roberto one more time. Man, all right, cool. See, Razzo cut Roberto's internet line. I see that. Aye, everybody's blaming Razzo, Coach.
Hey, you never know. I mean, nowadays, a lot of things can happen. And, Razzo plays a big part in ThursDIAZ. So now he wants a spot, you know. Remember, Roberto's been out a couple times, so it's becoming Razzo's show now. You know, he's got more fans now. I don't doubt. Hey, I don't doubt my guy. Hey, send somebody from the from the wire cable company out there and cut Roberto's Wi-Fi or something.
You know what? And it says Razzo's always the guy who says send it, right? It's always send it.
So he probably sent the Wi-Fi guy to cut it.
But yeah, Coach, finish your story. So the kid, you had Tonyo took him to Vegas, and I remember you talked about it a little bit, but the kid looked good, got the stoppage, and on your Instagram you even said it. Yeah, you were yelling and screaming like that's the way to stop it. Like you were. It felt like there was a little bit extra connection with that kid.
It is because this kid is. I mean, we grew up with his parents. His father, his uncle.
Okay.
We went to school with his dad and his uncle since we were in elementary school. We grew up together here. So, I mean, basically they're like family. Those are the kids that we know, the father, the uncle, the mother, the grandpa, everybody. We know all the family. And actually that kid has a cousin. He's 15 years old. And I've been working with big tall boy. He is really hard. He's only 15 years old. And they are so deep into the sport of boxing that when Antonio would have his amateur shows at the Boys and Girls Club, just if one of the kids, either Emmanuel or Grant, would have a fight on that day, they would buy up to 300 tickets for an amateur show. Yeah, you're talking about family and friends. Just that kid, if he would fight locally here on a show here and locally, he would sell 800 tickets himself. That's how much people, fans, and friends and family he had.
Was that the first time the kid fought on TV?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was his first opportunity. That's why we took the opportunity because, I mean, there was other offers around, and even though they offered us an undefeated kid, I mean, the risk of a fight is the same at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But the opportunity is different, you know, fighting, you know, at a different venue against fighting on TV, national TV. That's what you want. You want the opportunity to be exposed. And that night, honestly, the next day, one of the first persons who called me and told me, "Hey, Joel, who's this kid? He's really good. I like him." Is Steve Kim, you know.
Oh, that's your Steve Kim impersonation? Hey, Joel.
Yeah, oh, because that's him. Because when he called me, "Hey, Joel, you have a minute?" Yeah. Hey, who's this kid? Yeah, Emmanuel Flores. Yeah, so he talked really good about him, and you know,
Ay, Roberto. All right, okay, so Roberto's in. So we're figuring it out.
Did I boot out Coach?
Yeah, okay, so Roberto is in. There it is, me and Roberto. And then now Coach is, you know, see, the sabotage. Okay, so you call Roberto.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. All right, they're in. All right, so
I called you, yeah.
Yeah, you call me. We're going to figure it out, Roberto. All right, so we're going to get this going. This is the IT department. This is why we do it this way. Now I got to add a person here. And I'm going to call Joel Diaz. Boom. And I'm going to add him. And Roberto is figuring it out. Oh, yeah, see? We're calling. You guys are watching this live go down. Let's see if Joel Diaz answers. And the coach is there. All right, we got 3. Boom. All right, we are back. So for all you people who were doubting me, I saw the comments. I saw your comments that I need better IT. I was like, no, did I get it figured out? Yeah. No, are we doing it? Yeah. So this is how I sounded Roberto 2 weeks ago when they were all doubting me. So right now, but I'm drinking water, so I'm going to say, hey, thank you for staying with us. Appreciate your support. This ThursDIAZ continues to go on. But
very different language than last week.
2 weeks ago, I would have been.
I just got a report why we went down.
Ay, ¿por qué?
Razzo. Razzo's trying to interfere with the show so he can come back.
So he sent it.
You're right.
He sent it. Yeah.
You're right. Razzo is the one who's sabotaging everything. And you know what, Salem? Because all you people doubted me, I'm not going to say, fuck you. I'll say, F you. F you, all you people. All you haters that were doubting me. Porque Beto sabe. Beto's going to figure things out. It's going to take me a little bit longer, but I'm going to get it going on. So, rest of that, you know what? And another thing, you guys are welcome that I'm here. Okay, now I'm bitter.
Hey, he's venting.
Now, Roberto, that was a half an hour of that 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, the audio?
No, me yelling at them for half an hour. So, all right. So let's reset here. We got ThursDIAZ going. Thanks to everybody sticking with us. Molinar. Oh, there you go. I see Molinar. So everybody get your drink, get your shot, whatever it is you're drinking right now. Roberto was talking about you opened up a fancy bottle of wine today?
I opened a nice little cab from Napa.
Oh, nice.
Algo tranquilito to smooth my way back in.
All right. Nice ball. Do you have the decanter?
I do.
Yeah, you got to show off the decanter.
I even put in para que no entren los moscos.
You throwing a tennis ball in there or what?
There it is. So cheers to everybody. We're going to get going. It's going to be a good episode of ThursDIAZ. We got everybody here. Razzo is no longer sabotaging your internet. Cheers to Molinar. Toño, you know what? I think Toño probably had a little something to do with it too. I think Toño might have been, you know what?
That's a good point.
Because Toño's been very quiet in the comments. So, very, very quiet. So, it's always the ones that you...
He's probably eating. If he's quiet, he's eating.
There you go.
Or sleeping.
But Coach was he was talking about a fighter that he had on Top Rank Show last week. Roberto, the kid who went up there. What's his name again, Coach?
His name is Emmanuel Flores.
Okay.
He was 7-0, and got a call, Brett Goodman, and offered me a fight against this Puerto Rican kid. Was 8-0, 3 knockouts. You know, I thought the kid was good, but I didn't see potential for him to beat our boy. So going with that, talked to Antonio and said, hey, let's do it. And because we were off for other fights, and like I told Antonio, and talking to Antonio himself, he even says, I mean, every fight is a risk. Every fight is a risk. The opportunity, and it's different. Over there, it's national televised fight. He never fought on TV, and it's 7 fights, and people can see him. And I mean, he walked in the ring. After almost 2 years in activity. Wow. He was very composed.
Wait, Coach, that was his first fight in 3 years?
No, almost in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Because his manager just basically benched him, and he wasn't fighting. And when he came to me, sort of got him out of that contract. So once he was out of the contract, we started, making some calls and got him that opportunity. And now, we got some calls. This kid is really, really good. I mean, we always knew that kid was good because growing up, he grew up with us. Antonio started training him as a kid. And there was a time when I told Antonio, get rid of everybody and just train that kid. That kid is good. And, he was beating everybody up. And plus, like I told you, every time he fought in those amateur shows Antonio had, I mean, he will bring 300 people in an amateur event. And, he has a big following. His family are from here. We grew up with his father and his uncle since we were in elementary school. That's why we know the kid really well. Very humble kid. Good-looking kid, very respectful, speaks well. He has everything, and then he can hit. He's very composed in that ring. He's very composed. He can hit. He's got a great amateur background, and as soon as the fight was over, I told you, Steve Kim called me. Who's this kid? He's really good. I like him. I mean, Emmanuel Flores, and I know the.
And then, Coach, on Monday he's back at the gym.
I was going to say that, Beto, that shows a lot. It speaks a lot because after not fighting for a couple years, getting a win on national TV, a lot of kids would be out there celebrating still for a couple weeks. And I saw that too, and that caught my attention because he was right back in the gym. You could see he's excited and wants to keep going.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, he was in a good role. He was in a good role fighting when he turned pro. But, all of a sudden he was just not getting any answers from his manager, and he was just trying to fight. He always kept active. He always kept training regardless if there was fights. He's the type of kid that he doesn't stop. That's the reason why, he was back in the gym on Monday, and he was there training, and he's been training like everybody else every day, and
That's good.
He's ready for the next one.
There it is, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. So today's theme, before we get moving on, always thanks for watching ThursDIAZ with Beto Duran, Roberto Diaz, Joel Diaz, and from the Peanut Gallery, Razzo Antonio Diaz.
Peanut Gallery.
So this question came in today from Eddie Aguilera. Aguilera Boxing Champions, those great outfits. He said to ask you guys about the Olympic program and how it's changed in nowadays. When I was growing up, or when you guys were growing up, it was you want to go to the Olympics, and then from there your career's made. Oscar made his career like that. A lot of guys have done it. I mean, but it also used to be ABC would show the boxing on prime time back then. Now you could barely find boxing on the Olympic channels at all. So it's completely different. Coach, I'm gonna start it off with you. If you have a kid who's say 16 years old and who has potential to get to the trials, how do you manage him and say, hey, maybe the Olympics is where you should go, or maybe we don't do it because the rules are completely different now?
Well, us as trainers, and I've seen it with Antonio, honestly, because I don't train amateurs. I train pros. Antonio deals with the amateurs. And I've seen good amateurs coming up, and they get to a point where they are like demoralized, honestly. They lose that passion of the Olympics. They just want to move on and turn pro. I mean, in the last few fighters that Antonio had, they had a lot of potential. And they could have tried. They could have went to the Olympic trials and kept participating, looking into an Olympic games. They're like, nah, I don't want to go to the Olympics. It's too much politics. And you can see it, honestly. I mean, there was a time where I went with some of Antonio's kids to big tournaments. And these kids will qualify for nationals, and towards the tournament, you see how bad it is, the system they got. They already, honestly, and I can tell you straight up, as you're moving on in the amateurs, moving into an Olympic trials, they already know who's gonna make it from day one. Yeah, they already got the guys that are gonna go, and there's times in which those guys lose, and it's ridiculous because you see them lose, and they win, and they just keep moving on. So the kids that lose, they deserve the opportunity, and they don't go. So they come back and then, you know what? I just want to turn pro. They don't want to even be around. So based on that, other kids see it, so they go the same route. Like, you know what? There's too much politics. You know, you really have to, kiss a lot of butt to get to the top. And you can hear it among themselves. You know, you hear the kids, I don't want to turn. I just want to turn pro. There's kids that are 15, 16, and I'm like, hey, how soon can I turn pro? There's some of our kids that wanted to go turn pro in Mexico because they didn't want to be amateurs anymore. A lot of things changed, Beto. In the last, I think since the 1990s, I think that was one of the, early 1990s, around there. There was still some fighters that really wanted to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I think after the 2000s, that you don't see a lot of kids interested in that, and especially on the West Coast. East Coast, their styles are different. They do look forward to go to Olympics and represent the U.S. But I see on the West Coast, I don't see a lot of kids talking about representing the team in the Olympics. They just want to turn pro. It's like, for example, moving into the professionals as well. A lot of fighters don't want to fight for titles no more. They lost the love for the belts. They just want to make money, because nowadays there's too many belts.
Interesting. It's interesting the way you hear it, because it was Sugar Ray Leonard. That was the deal. Oscar is an Olympian. Fernando Vargas went to Olympia. You're right, though, Coach.
Yeah.
In the 2000s, I think that's when it changed, because the different styles, and you had like 18-year-olds fighting the men from the Uzbeks, because it's a complete. I've always been curious about how it goes about doing that. And Roberto, for you, how does it go where you're scouting these kids? So say a kid comes to the Olympics world, where he went to the Olympics. Do you treat them different as far as like trying to sign them, or how's that work?
Well, personally, for me, it's changed night and day. If you remember, USA was always the powerhouse. Yes, you'd face Cuba, but you had young kids kids fighting men.
Yeah.
But outside of Cuba, USA was the powerhouse. 1976, 1984 was two of the greatest teams that the USA ever produced. How many medals in 76 alone? The Spinks brothers, Sugar Ray Leonard, I think Leo Randolph. I mean, there were so many medals. And then comes the 84. Wow. Tyrell Biggs and Holyfield. Holyfield didn't get a gold, but Meldrick Taylor, Whitaker, all these guys medaled. One of the greatest teams as well, 84. Mark Breland, sorry.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing a change. 92, one medal, Oscar de la Hoya. Then you go years later, we don't medal at all. And until I think Andre Ward. And most recently, the teams, look, you're seeing some of these kids that didn't medal, now mature men are winning world titles. Errol Spence, Jojo Diaz, the kid from Cincinnati, I forget his name, small weight class.
Warren.
But there's, I'm sorry?
Rashee Warren, right?
Warren. Yeah, Rashee Warren. Exactly. They're all winning world titles now because now they're starting to mature. But since then, it's changed. And I can see where Coach is saying they just want to go pro. At least, and it's not a right thing, at least in the pros, if they get robbed, a bad decision, at least they're getting compensated with pay. And the amateurs, you're taking away a dream. There is a lot of politics. They already have who's going to win or who's going to be selected. Now, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, back in the day, each fighter had their own trainer. And then once coming the fight, they would fix it, a little bit work maybe with the other. Now, basically, Antonio makes this kid from 5 years old, gets him into the qualifiers. He makes the team, and here you go, Coach. I got to turn them over.
For real?
Yeah.
There's coaches that don't know these kids.
Yeah.
And they don't know their style. They don't know what makes them click. So if you just turn them over to somebody and say, hey, I hope you get a medal. Or maybe Antonio on his own dime flies out to the games and in the room works a little bit with the kid and reminds them this is what got you here. So remember what you got to do. But come fight time, he has to turn them over.
Wow.
Yeah. And the result is less medals. Now, when you're seeing that, and now add today that off with the headgear, the smaller gloves. If I'm going to go in there and get cut or run the risk of a broken nose or concussion or this, I might as well go get paid.
Yeah.
They're devaluating the ambition of that medal. Before you're right, before winning that medal, if you ask Oscar today, out of all those world titles that you won, what's the most important one that you won? And he says the gold medal. And at first it was like, why? I'm like, why the gold medal? I could never lose that. I could never lose that. Once you win the gold medal, you're a gold medalist for life.
For life. True.
And where if you win a belt, the world title, and you lose it, you lose that world title. But you can never lose that gold medal. So, representing your country, there has to be that satisfaction, whether you win or not, the medal, just to represent. I mean, look at through the history, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, all these guys won medals and represented the country.
So for you, Roberto, when they bring you a fighter, say, hey, we want to sign him, do you look at the amateur Olympic world, or is it just completely different? Like, is there a signing bonus if you're an Olympian, or how's that work?
Obviously, if you bring back a medal, I mean, and that's why I encourage some fighters, hey, if you have the chance to go and travel the world with the amateur program, especially when they're young, go travel and learn and get that experience, whether you win a medal or not, you bring it to the pros, you have that experience. It's not like you just go from a couple of sparring sessions into the pros, because once you go pro, it's tough. But if you come back with a medal, everybody's calling you. It's not like you're going knocking and looking for a job. It's everybody's calling you. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. At the end of the day, for the fighter, it's good because there's a bidding war and he's going to get most out of it. However, sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make great professionals.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't translate over. The other thing that I think is discouraging for a lot of the young fighters is not only are they fighting grown men from other countries that maybe don't have professional, but they're now also fighting professional fighters that can go back into the amateur program. Which, come on.
Wait. Oh, that's right. That's right. If you're a pro, you can go fight for your country in the Olympics. I just remember that because
that's correct.
Hassan Indan did that. And
Hassan Indan did that, lost, but there's many more invitations going out now to some of these pros to go. And at the end of the day, why?
Coach, you had some of your Uzbek guys were going to do that, right?
Beck is in the team to represent Uzbekistan in the Olympics, and he's a pro.
That's a good example.
What?
That's a good example. Beck is all a professional fighter. He's gonna knock out guys with way more experience than him in the pros because of his professional style.
Yeah.
He was a very, very good amateur. He won many tournaments, won many medals, Imagine him in there with a 16, 17-year-old kid from a country that maybe doesn't have the program of 300 amateur fights or, at the time. He goes in there, and my dream is to win a medal. Another example is, Canelo was invited to go back to the amateurs to represent Mexico.
What?
Exactly. Obviously, he passed on that and said, no, I'm not going to take the dream away from another young man, another young fighter, because that could be a career ending.
Yeah.
The kids lose. Maybe mentally they feel like I'm not as good as I thought, so I won't even proceed pros. But it's not that. You're fighting an established fighter. Now, I brought it up to a Jorge Linares. I said, the Jorge Linares today of 30-plus years old with 5 losses was to fight the undefeated Jorge Linares as a pro. Who would win? And he says, no, the Jorge Linares of today. Exactly. So what do you think happens in the amateurs when these guys haven't even gone pro?
Wow.
They're trying to go out there and win by points. And the pro, I don't care if I lose round 1, round 2, round 3. You know what? I'm going to time you, and I'm going to hurt you. And that's what they're looking to do, the knockout.
It's interesting.
Big difference.
It's interesting. I was always, because Eddie brought that up, that question, and I thought about it the other day.
Great question, Eddie.
Great
question.
Because there was a kid from Kansas, I forget his name. He was an Olympian, Carlos, not Balderas, was it? Or Kiko Balderas, right? He was an Olympian, and he's now going to be fighting bare knuckles boxing. He's doing that. And I'm like, wait a minute, how do you go from being the Olympian to doing bare knuckles? Obviously, management, whatever it is. And then also, like, the Molina brothers, who fought for the U.S. and the other one fought for Mexico. I know those kids. I was like, how did they not get bigger if you're coming back as an Olympian? I've always just been curious about how that works in different perspectives. You're right, Roberto, because you have kids who go the amateur, but they don't become good professionals. It's interesting. And they always say la política always gets involved. Now, so it's just curious about what's going on and everything else. So good question, Eddie. That got the questions going on right now. So, Nico Hernandez. There you go, Toño. See, Toño's a good person today. Toño's not being like Razzo.
I think Nico Hernandez, the thing with him, and I correct me if I'm wrong, and Toño's there, is I believe he's a very small weight class.
Yeah, he's small. I think 112.
And in the U.S. market, for years, it was slow. It was hard to find opponents. It was hard to build a fighter, even though he came with a medal, it came with credentials. The promoters were shy from signing him. I mean, you had the exceptions of the Michael Carvajal, and Chiquita Gonzalez, and Finito Lopez, but it was very rare to see, a star in those divisions. Most recently, we had that next wave with Chocolatito and Gallito Estrada, and those guys are starting to pick it back up, and hopefully that helps, to put more attention, because some of the most exciting fights happen in those weight classes.
You're right. And Tonio checks in. He says he fights at 105, but he won the medal.
Yes.
He won the medal at 108, and I think everybody watching right now, your left leg is 108. So it's all right. Moving on. All right. So Roberto, we're not gonna get into what's Golden Boy doing, what's all that. I don't care about that. Nothing else. How are you doing? Like right now, what are you up to? Because one, you're trying to save your house. Two, you're trying to figure out where your IT department went. And then you have the fancy wine. So what are you doing right now? Let's catch up with Roberto Diaz because we missed you.
Thank you so much. I missed you guys as well. I missed everybody's questions and obviously having a good time with you guys. It's been tough. It's been tough with the fires. It's been tough with the fires in the mountains and the fires outside of the mountains. But like a good fireman, we got to turn off fires. That's what we do. And you know what? We're prepared for that. And just looking forward to, most importantly for me right now, is, look, I'm healthy, my family's healthy, we're safe right now, but most importantly for me, and that's the message to everybody out there, is I want to see our guys, I want to see my guys back in the ring, doing what they do. You know, it was great to see Joed Gonzalez last weekend back in the ring. Yeah. Congrats to Joed and Don Chuy and the team and Espinosa Boxing, to all of them. You know, it was great to see him back in there, and I loved, and I told them after the loss with Shakur, his first loss in a world title fight, obviously there's that down, but to come right back in and, as Brother Nazim would say, swim but don't get wet, to get back in the ring with a tough opponent, not I want to tune up and I want it. Like I told him, look, Mariaga is tough. He's a veteran. He has a great record, big puncher. Joed can beat him. He's the style that he's not going to run and move. He's going to come. I was very confident, and the result paid off. Look, he's number one again.
So he's number one in his division. Oh. He
is right there knocking on the door for the world title. Obviously, it's vacant right now. In a few weeks, we're going to see Navarrete against Villa for the world title, and then we'll be knocking on that door to fight one of the whoever wins. Oh. Obviously, we'll sit down with his management and decide, but he's back on there rather than going the safe route. Taking 2 or 3 easy fights could have taken another year to get him back there. Yeah. And like Antonio said earlier, that coach said, is there's no easy fights, and right now it's the opportunities are knocking. Take them. And you know what? If you lose, okay, you know what? It's tough. Learn from it. Get back in the saddle. You know what? It's not how many times you fall. It's how many times you get up. And that's what I'm missing more. I want to see our guys. I want to see Jason Quigley in the ring. I want to see Ronnie Rios in the ring. I want to see Diego de la Hoya back in the ring. I want to see the guy Lamont Roach back in the ring. You know, all our kids that have been training day in, day out, just waiting for that call. So that's what we're working on, and hopefully we'll see them all back in. Sulem Urbina, I want to see her fighting for her first title, and of course moving on to a world title shot.
There, you want to get everybody. I want to see Razzo back in the ring, opening up the rope, because nobody else is better at opening up the rope for a fighter than Razzo. He's really good at that, coach. You know it. Tu gallo.
Cunhao también is pretty good.
Cunhao, those guys. It's a skill to open up the rope, let the fighter walk in there. Oh yeah.
Let me not remind. I think it was a Canelo fight, maybe at T-Mobile. Let's see if Antonio can find us a little video piece of Razzo running up to open that corner, and he slid.
No!
Desde like 10 feet before las escaleras, he slid. Really? And all I see is him going flying right there in front of me in T-Mobile. Hasta el poste. What?
He tripped and fell again.
I don't know what happened, pero he flew right into the post. And he got up. He got up.
I'll tell you what happened.
Millions of fans watching, or como dice Buffer, with the hundreds of thousands in attendance and millions around the world. Pero Razzo got up. Nadie me vio.
I'll tell you what he did that day?
What?
He sent it. Razzo, hey, it.
That's a true sending.
Oh my God!
Es que así se sube al ring, Roberto. Ese día, he wanted to make a special entrance.
Oh, he made a special. In fact, the fighter said, "Let me go the other way now, porque you just blew me away. I can't beat that."
Oh my
Roberto,
God!
Como cuando te caes y de la vergüenza dices, así me bajo yo.
Razzo really ran into the post.
Ese día Razzo se trompezó y se metió al ring y dijo, así me subo yo.
Yeah, he went under the bottom rope.
Yeah.
And then he came up.
Oh, Razzo! Oh my God!
Because he's a wrestling fan. Only because he's a wrestling fan.
A wrestling fan.
Yeah, Razzo says.
No, wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, wrestling fan.
Razzo says that's where Send It started. Razzo, in the comment section, type in what happened, Razzo. Type in what happened. I want to know what fight.
That's where Send It happened. That makes sense, right? Hey, Gallo, I got your back, bro. You know what happened? Razzo wanted to make a special entrance that day.
Is a Canelo fight? And you know what? Just for that, I need a shot. As Eddie says, we were gonna take a shot. Let's or some kind of drink. Let's get going. Razzo had. I mean, T-Mobile must have just opened. So he went. You know what it was? He probably had some fancy Stacey Adams. They were all slick. He hit the ground and he just went. Oh my God, Razzo, pobrecito.
And that's when DJ Ray, I think, put Tragos de Amargo.
Hey, he has some Pachuco shoes.
He had his quinceañera shoes on, Coach. He was ready. His chambelán was ready. Oh my goodness.
Oh, even Joel, his son, was like, "Ay, papa."
And that's it's. Oh my God! Remember to hit the thumbs up. Yeah. All right. So this is kind of what's going on because through my Instagram, you know how they always remind you on this date what's going on. So on this date, 4 years ago, Coach and Roberto, we were at Cowboy Stadium. We were at Jerry's World. Canelo fought Liam Smith. And
yeah, we're there, yeah.
Yeah, early on, you had Virgil Ortiz. I think his second fight ever. And he fought at Cowboy Stadium. It was cool. I just saw that picture that I had. And I was just going back. And, you know, this week it sucks that there's no fights at all. And don't blame Canelo. Blame COVID. It's blame everything, right? Blame the whole world. There was no fight today. And it's just like, damn, that's how we plan our schedule. Like if you're a football fan, you know what you're planning this. For us that work in boxing, it's like, okay, Cinco de Mayo week, I'm here. September 16th week, I'm there. And it just makes you kind of reminisce a little bit about, damn, like how much I miss just being around the people.
Absolutely, Beto. I mean, for boxing, and I'm not talking like the fans or the people that work in boxing over the last 2 years. I'm talking about history. I think it was 30 plus years ago today, we got the first Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns fight. One of the greatest fights to ever be done. I mean, exciting, great. Two of the best welterweights, unifying titles. I watched that fight at a movie theater.
Come on!
When it was closed circuit, before it was pay-per-view. And, you know, through the years after, I mean, Chavez took over the dates, and then Oscar, and then Mayweather, and then Canelo. It's sad, you know, that the last two Mexican independents, there hasn't been any boxing. And obviously this year, COVID has really changed our world, our lives. Right now, we'd be in Vegas and, you know, people, Alejandro Fernandez and Luis Miguel and all the Pepe Aguilar and all the main singers would be doing their concerts and shows all over and big boxing event, and Canelo would be fighting. We should have had right now. We should have had Canelo and Golovkin.
We could have ThursDIAZ in Vegas. Pay-per-view.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great.
Oh,
pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
With Razzo on the show.
I want 20% at least of the sales, okay? At least 20.
I'm going to be like a real boxing manager. 60%. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Like that.
That leaves you with 20, boy.
That's fine.
Hey, but, okay, so...
Por dinero no se preocupen. No hay.
Now, this is where I want to go with. Coach, when it's an Independence weekend, and I thought about this the first time, and this is kind of where I wanted to go with this, because it's we have all kinds of different avenues. There's something that pega mejor when you have that weekend, and they're playing the Mexican national anthem, right? When they're singing it. Like I told the story about when Pepe Aguilar is standing there, like me being as Latino light as I am, all of a sudden I'm here. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Mexicano la grita. I was ready. It's just, what about when you're when you're in the corner? I know you say you don't worry about the crowd, but coach, that's got to hit you a little bit.
No, it's different. It's different when you know it's Mexican Independence Day, or it's Cinco de Mayo, and you got the just that feeling, that energy that it's Mexican. It's a Mexican theme, and just that Mexican music. And they always play some of those songs that really hit you, and that's how it is. Regardless, if you're a true Mexican, and you come from Mexico and you know your roots, once they play that national anthem, oh, you feel it. I mean, you feel it inside you. I mean, it's in your heart. It's in your soul, man. You feel it when you're in that corner, or even you're in the dressing room, because most of the time when those big events, we are in the dressing room, we're in the audience, we got a main event up there, and you stand up and you're listening to that song. I mean, you feel it inside. Yeah. Like, hey, you know what? Feels good. You get the chills. When you heard Pepe Aguilar singing, it's a good feeling. I mean, I don't remember. Yes, I have. When Bradley fought Marquez. Bradley fought Marquez. They had that. I was in the opposite corner of Marquez, but hey, I'm Mexican. I was there, and it's a great feeling. Honestly, it's a great feeling because it's in our blood. It's different. It's part of our roots, Mexican.
It just hits.
And I think that's where the void feels more, that this last couple of years, it hasn't been celebrated like traditionally it's supposed to be, or we have been doing for many years. But it's also a time where, because you have the concerts all over the strip, and you have the big fight, and you have so many more people visit Vegas that weekend.
Yeah.
And not only just your average fan or the fan or whoever, or the high rollers, no, but you have the stars. They come out.
Yeah.
And you see, whether they're performing or not, you see them out there to support or to have a good time, or come for the weekend, come with the friends and have a good time in Vegas and celebrate. But just in the audience alone.
Yeah.
LeBron, we were sitting right next to LeBron. And the actors, and you see all Hollywood, you see all sports, all different walks of life, and sports, and different athletes come together to watch that fight.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty cool.
And you know what? I mean, Lucerito singing the national anthem, Pepe Aguilar singing the national anthem, Angelica, it's just really cool to see that or live that experience.
We got the update from Razzo. He said what had happened was, we were walking, and all of a sudden, Canelo started to skip a little fast. So I ran up ahead, and the steps were narrow. I stumbled a bit. Relax. I didn't go through the ropes, but the glasses were tilted and shit. It was awesome. Send it. No pasa nada.
Yeah, I remember his glasses were sideways.
Well, so now it's Canelo's fault. He started going a little too fast, so Razzo started running. Send it. I think Canelo said, send it.
He said, where, Razzo?
Oh, my goodness. Boy, cheers to you, Razzo. Cheers to you for always keeping us there.
Gallo, no pasa nada, Gallo. Hey, it's all good.
A new pair of glasses.
A lot of these people don't know that's how you make your entrance. Especially at a big event like that.
Yeah,
Razzo, send it. Salud.
Remember, Razzo used to be the star of 24/7 because he would always be around Canelo, so you would always see Razzo walking in Canelo, and it was like you would hear the deep voice, and it was like, oh man, here it is. All right. Also, now Roberto, I always want to know this: who gets the celebrities to sing? Like, how do you get Pepe? How do you get Lucerito? How do you get Alejandro? How's that happen?
Well, depends on who the main event is.
Okay.
Of the time, like for instance, Canelo will say, "Look, I want to invite this person to come and sing. Can we get him?" And when it was Mayweather, Mayweather would decide, "Hey, I have this singer, or this singer is going to sing for me," and when it was Chavez, I mean, he had Vicente Fernandez, and Talia was once with him in the corner. And I mean, it depends on who is the main event at the time. Right now, during these times, Canelo makes the decision of who he prefers for the Mexican national anthem. And then maybe his opponent, if it's from another country, then he'll decide if he wants to bring his national anthem or it's a CD. And then obviously the U.S., then the promoters decide, if there's somebody that's from the U.S. we want to bring.
So you're not calling like Pepe Aguilar, like, hey Pepe, it's Roberto from ThursDIAZ. We need you at Joel's house.
No, but I mean, sometimes keep in mind that sometimes there has been calls to these artists that have been selected or requested, and they have prior commitments. And they're not called the month before. They're called in June for a September fight. Some of them have had prior commitments. So you go on and look at, I think Canelo's had Cristian Nodal, Lucerito, Pepe Aguilar. He's had a good variety.
Yeah, that's always cool.
Barrera, when I was with Marco, we've had El Coyote, which we talked about. That one was snuck under. He had a very good friend of his, Singh, who was a very good singer, and there was a variety. So it was always depending on the star fighter of the night.
Here's a question: has anybody ever denied the opportunity to sing the anthem for a boxer?
I don't think denied that I know of. I know when we just mentioned Dallas Stadium a few years ago. We requested Leonardo Aguilar, Pepe Aguilar's son, who I'm a big fan of.
The young kid, right?
Very young. I think he wasn't even 18. I want to say he was maybe 16 or 17 at the time. 50,000 plus in attendance. And Pepe could not be there. Pepe had a private event and his family. And I think under normal circumstances, Pepe wouldn't have been okay with him going on his own. I think it was more Leonardo saying, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. But if you remember, many, many, many years ago, a famous celebrity from Mexico messed up the national anthem. To this day, 30 plus years later, they still remember it in Mexico. It's looked really bad. It's not like, I missed a word or not. In Mexico, it's much different. Here in the U.S., he messed up a word. They'll forget about it a couple days later. It's like when
Carl Lewis did the anthem at the Rockets game. He was terrible. They still make fun of him. But the Mexican anthem is different, right?
It's a falta de respeto, the way it's looked at. But even here, there was a lady actress.
Oh, Roseanne.
That at a baseball game, I think in San Diego.
Yeah, the Padre game.
Was very
disrespectful.
Very bad.
Yeah, she spit afterwards.
Yes. And a couple months later, hey, she's back on her show. Yeah. Hey, she's funny, whatever. And people forgave her, Mm-hmm. In Mexico, he didn't mean to mess it up, but he messed it up and they never forgave him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I think that was on the pressure. Leonardo said, I want to go. And at a young age, up in the ring, and sang it. So it wasn't like...
Oh, that's who that was. That little kid.
Yeah, Leonardo Aguilar, who today is, top singer.
Yeah, he's good because his sister, as the band says, Angela, she's really good because, believe it or not, I went to...
Angela sung the national anthem for the Kovalev fight.
Yes, she did.
For the Canelo Kovalev fight.
Yeah, she did.
That's her little sister.
Yeah.
Oh, that girl has a voice, man. She has an
amazing
voice, man.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
And like Juan says, Fergie messed it up. She messed it up. It's Roseanne. People mess it up, so just don't do anything like that. But yeah, it's because I saw during the pandemic, I've been looking at a bunch of YouTube when Vicente Fernandez walked out with Chavez. Like,
yes,
dude, like, you guys got a free concert. Like, what the hell was that? Like,
that's the awesome part. I mean, we've had, I think, Lupillo. Jenny, before she passed away, obviously sang. Jenny Rivera and Lupillo have sang it. So that gives it cool, that extra, man. That extra touch that it's a special event, not just a regular fight.
Coach, when you've been at a fight, have you ever noticed, like, looked across and be like, damn, that's so-and-so singing it?
Oh, look, I've had the honor, the privilege of being, in the dressing room close to the Golden Boy office in a few events. When Jojo Diaz fought when he fought Tino Avila. That was
at T-Mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, his dressing room was next to you guys' office.
Yeah, so, it was right in the corner.
Yeah. So I would come outside and grab some food because you guys had food all the time there.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Lucero. Lucero was there. El Gordo de Molina. I've seen Angela Aguilar. I've been around, close to them in the same outfit, but never, got close to them. But yeah, I've had the privilege to be around.
Yeah.
Just,
Coach or Roberto, the question is, do they get paid to perform, or they get tickets?
No, they don't get paid. Oh, it depends on the artist. What they do is they obviously get the travel taken care of, their accommodations, tickets, credentials. Now, there is some singers that say, well, you know what? I have an event, but I'll make the exception, but I need to get paid. Now, that depends on the actual fighter. I mean, if he really wants them, he'll pay for them. And there has been events where I know Canelo has paid for some of these singers to come out there and sing, but it's not something like if they're doing a concert. It's like, you know what? Let's take care of the expenses. Yeah. Let's take care of whatever they need. With Coyote, with Coyote and Barrera, it wasn't a national anthem. It was the walkout song, which is even bigger because Coyote was singing the walkout song, but Coyote brought, no joke, his full banda.
That's a big banda.
And that was no joke. It was like 20 people.
Come on.
We flew them all in. They all needed tickets. Coyote in charge. Well, we had to get them a couple rooms. He said, don't worry about the banda. I'll take care of them, this and that. But just make sure I have rooms for me, my wife, the manager, and my assistant, blah, blah, blah. But I want my whole banda. And the total amount of people were like 20 people. Damn. And it was just, at that point, you look at, it's going to be expensive, but you know what? It's also, at this point, it's a mental game, and it's a strategy, and it's chess. You're not playing checkers anymore. You're playing chess, and it's like, you know what? Let's do it because the impact is going to be worth it.
It's exactly it. The impact. Like that's why the stuff that we tell on ThursDIAZ, the stories, you can't hear this anywhere else. It's like, we could break down, hey, what's this fight going to do? What's that fight? You can hear that anywhere. But the stories and the backgrounds that we tell, that's why I love doing this show. And we do it for the fans because you always hear something different. To hear that Coyote is like, I got this, or Pepe Aguilar is worried about his son flying across the country doing things. That's what's cool about it. And for me, one of the cool experiences was I was with Jessica Rosales, and we're in the Golden Boy office. This is when Cotto fought, I think, at the Mandalay Bay or something. And
Canelo.
We're standing there, and I look over, and I'm like, that's Tigres del Norte. Like, the entire group of Tigres del Norte are just hanging out in the Golden Boy office, and they wanted to see the press conference. They were just so happy to be there for the press conference afterwards. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like,
if I'm not mistaken, we were at dinner in the Mandalay Bay. Across the table was the Tigres del Norte. And Oscar told somebody, guys, go invite them to the fight tomorrow. If they don't have a concert, obviously, again, the dates, the invitation was extended, and they showed up.
No way.
I'm almost positive that's why the Tigres were at that fight. We were having dinner at a steakhouse in Mandalay. They were across the table. Oscar said, hey, pregúntenle si quieren ir, boletos para todos.
That's cool.
And they said, yes, we'd love to. And they ended up going. So that a lot of times is they request tickets. They want to go. Luis Miguel was at one of the fights recently I don't know if it was Canelo Triple G or Canelo Jacobs. I think it might have been the Canelo Triple G 2.
Yeah.
Luis Miguel was right there, invited by Oscar. And Luis Miguel had just invited Oscar a couple days before to a concert. So that's why the next day or 2 days later, Oscar invited him to Luis Miguel. So they were, sitting together, sitting close by.
I need to go and hang out with Roberto because I'm over in my room doing notes. I'm missing out on Luis Miguel and all this other stuff. Oh, man. It's
I didn't go to the concerts, by the way. I didn't go to the Luis Miguel because I was like, no, I want to sleep in and I want to be there for the weigh-in and everything. So I didn't go to the concert.
I went to a Maná concert. So, Oye mi amor, clavado en un bar, like I was a couple weeks ago. And then all right. Here we go. Roberto Juan Tena says, Roberto, when the ring announcer is going to announce a boxer in a big event, does the promoter have any say in how the announcer will present him?
Very, very little, because keep in mind that the announcers that are at the big event are, what can we tell them? They need to tell us because they're the experts. You got Michael Buffer, Jimmy Lennon, who most of the time are your announcers for those big events. So there's not much you need to tell them. There's cases where you'll check in or maybe they'll ask a pronunciation of this or that, because they want to make sure they're right on. But when it comes to that, no. Maybe on the smaller fights, yes, you want to make sure that, hey, don't call them by this name, call them by that name, or this and that. But on the big stage, no.
All right. Here we go.
They usually come around the dressing room when they have questions or they have doubts. They'll come and they'll speak to the fighter themselves. Hey, and then they're like, "Is this the right pronunciation of your name? You from this country, from the city?" So they want to make sure that everything that is on their notes is right. That's why if they have doubts, they'll walk to the dressing room and they'll approach the fighter and they'll ask him, "Is this the right way you pronounce your name? And this is the right way you pronounce your city?" And that's how.
All right.
And that's when you see reality. And that's a respectful. I like the question, but it's also the position of an announcer is not just an announcer. That's why there is amazing announcers all over the world, or very few great, because they take that extra time.
Yeah.
I've seen Jimmy Lennon Jr. go and want to make sure he pronounces your name like Coach is saying. I don't want to mess it up because that's your name, and that's that. They're very careful. Michael Buffer, how many times have we seen him and speak the language of the country he's in out of respect for the majority of the attendance? So there's a respect factor from them, and I think that's what makes very few, and there's great ones, but very few been around so many years.
Yeah, it's different. And everybody thinks they can do it, then they get in the ring and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute."
You freeze.
Yeah,
you freeze.
Yeah,
It's imagine you. It's so easy to be sitting there and say, "They don't know what they're doing. I could do better." And you get up there, and you have thousands looking at you like, "Okay, what's next?" Yeah. And you get the red corner wrong with the blue corner. You say the green corner with the red. It's like.
See, muy fácil, all of a sudden. Or they'll say, a split decision draw, or some.
It's easy to say when you're outside, like going back to the national anthem, the Mexican national anthem. In my career as a coach, I've had so many people approach me and say, "Oh, this guy messed up. Oh, this guy didn't do this right." Based on the national anthem itself. Especially Mexican people. They always criticize
everything,
singers, everything based on the national anthem. Oh, he was too low on this, or his notes. I don't know. It sounded really good to me. To me, it sounded really good. Oh, Ana Barbara didn't do it right. Hey, I don't know. She did great to me. But people are like that, and it's the same way when you walk in that ring, and you hold the microphone, and you look around, and there's so many people. Like, for example, my son the other day. He comes to me and he was amazed. He goes, "Dad, look at this." I go, "Well, you were too young for that." When Oscar fought Carpentier.
In El Paso.
El Paso.
Patrick Carpentier.
My son showed me the video. Yeah. My son showed me the video of the fight. I remember the fight, but he's like, how can people go see the fight, especially over there? They can't even see the ring.
And there wasn't like in the arenas today where you have that big screen
There was nothing. I go, they just wanted to be part of it. They wanted to be there.
That's exactly it.
And what's more impressive, it was, I think it was 80,000. I don't remember the number of the attendance. Yes.
Yeah, and Oscar walking in with a full charro outfit.
Full charro outfit.
Ooh, how long did it take him to put that on?
I don't know, but he took it off pretty quick. Yeah. I think it was one of those Chip and Dale ones. But what was more impressive is, and I wasn't part of Golden Boy, I wasn't even at the event.
I'm the coach.
Of the attendance was women.
Yes.
That's impressive because boxing is the man sport. Yeah. Not when Oscar was fighting.
Yeah, I actually just did a podcast with Roberto Franco, a boxing writer out of El Paso. This guy has his PhD, so you could go check it out on the Living the Dream podcast series. And he's from El Paso, and we talked about that fight. He said there was people outside who couldn't get in because they just wanted to be there because they knew that Oscar De La Hoya is never coming back to El Paso. And he said it was groups of women going, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. It's just a different. It's like when Razzo shows up. Everybody just wants to see Razzo for a little bit.
And he goes in under the rope.
With his glasses to the side.
His glasses sideways.
Cheers, Coach. Cheers. This one from Eddie again. How do you know who has it and who doesn't?
Personally, you think you know. I mean, there's many times where I've said this kid has it, and years later you find out maybe he didn't, or nah, this kid doesn't have it. And I'll give you a great example. And I've told him in person. I give him all the props in the world. I debuted Tevin Farmer.
You debuted him?
I debuted Tevin Farmer in Maryland at a sponsor show with DeWalt. He lost. It wasn't that he got destroyed, knocked out. I think he lost a 4-round decision. But I was like, you think you say he doesn't have it, que busque otra cosa, or he's going to be, In fact, I don't know if you were training him at the time, Coach, but I almost did Tevin Farmer against Jamie Kavanaugh. Because I didn't think highly of Tevin Farmer. He had lost 4 or 5 fights in the beginning of his career. And I saw what he did as a debut. I said, Jamie got pressures. He's not a big puncher, but he throws a lot of punches. Jamie will beat him. And then Tevin Farmer starts changing a little bit. He had some... Yeah. A manager came in and said, stop working or just dedicate to boxing. You could see a change and starts winning fights. And like a mini Pernell Whitaker, you couldn't even touch him. It was slick without moving in the ring. He was very slick and difficult. I remember him calling me and said, give me a chance, man. I just want to buy my mom a house. And I said, Tevin, this is before he was signed with anybody. I think he didn't even have 10 fights. I said, keep that motivation and keep working hard. So I saw him many years later as a world champion. And I said, man, you come a long way. And congratulations. Congratulations. You make me proud because there's a little piece of me in that debut. And there's a little piece of you saying, he's an underachiever. He shouldn't have made it based on what he had, according to statistics. And not only did he win a world title, he went on defended it a few times. So there's times where you think by experience, but in boxing, nothing's written in stone. So you never know. It's he who works the hardest, not the most talented. That's one thing that's for sure.
And I'm a true believer of that. I was working for HBO Latino as a commentator, and we were doing a lot of fights on the East Coast, Florida, over there. I think I did 4 of his fights, 4 fights, Tevin Farmer. And, I knew him in the personal level because in the fighter meetings, I got to know him in the personal level. Great kid, spoke really well, and he talked about how he started, adversities he went through, and where he was, and he had great goals in mind, and nothing was gonna stop him. And I was like, okay, one fight, and then they called me back, and I was out there for another one, New York, Florida. Well, I did commentating for 4 of his fights. That's why when it came down to Jojo Diaz, I already, I knew enough of Tevin Farmer. But yeah, that kid, I remember when he started, he had like 4 losses in his record.
Yeah.
Losses, yeah, and 4 losses. And he came and he left those 4 losses behind, and he started moving forward, just winning and winning and winning.
And then to add to that question is, sometimes you see a fighter that you say, oh my God, he has it, guaranteed. But there's a lack of discipline, or there's demons that he's fighting outside the ring. Frankie Gomez.
Yeah. Oh man.
Frankie Gomez is one of the best fighters that I've seen step into the ring. He had no fear inside the ring. But there's outside distractions, or I'm not going to say lack of discipline, because look, to where he got, he had to have some kind of discipline.
Yeah.
But there's outside distractions that are pulling and pulling and pulling. And you have to have the discipline to say, mi madre.
Yeah.
You guys are going to mess up my career, whether it's the family or the homies or, you have to have discipline. Not only, when I mean discipline, it's not only training, but to say, I don't need you guys. Mm-hmm. And we lost. Boxing lost one of the best fighters out there. I mean, imagine, I sometimes think
he was really Frankie that good. Gomez,
very good.
See, because I called 2 of his fights, and each time, 3 fights of his, and each time I saw glimpses, but he looked bored and he didn't look in shape. Even when he beat Mauricio Herrera, I'm like, because I had heard about this kid, I kept hearing about him. But I'm like, okay, where is it?
Yes, you're right. You know what? Sometimes we see in a fighter that's fights to the level
of their competition,
or
he's fighting below,
or just like, okay, yeah. I'm not in threat.
Yeah.
Where did I see Frankie Gomez really amaze me? Not even in the fights. Joel Diaz in Indio. Lucas Matiz is getting ready to fight Danny Garcia. Mm-hmm. And we bring in Frankie Gomez to spar Lucas. That was Frankie Gomez's first day back in the gym after weeks or months. So he wasn't even in shape. Lucas was probably about 3 weeks away from the fight. And I'm not going to say he dominated Lucas. Mauricio Herrera and Alberto Herrera, his brother, were also sparring with Lucas. So I think Frankie did a couple rounds and Mauricio did a couple rounds. But I was like, holy shit, first day back. And he did very good with Lucas, who was one of the best fighters in the division. And then I saw him with Probodnikov at a couple weeks before Probodnikov's fight, and he played with Probodnikov. I mean, he actually hurt him. And I think Probodnikov was going to fight Alvarado for the title. And I walked away saying, there's no way Probodnikov wins.
Yeah.
And Probodnikov won. But he looked so bad against Frankie. Frankie in the gym, in the ring, was at home.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, some of the people that talked out there when he was training with Freddie, he's been the only one that dropped Manny Pacquiao in a sparring session.
Well, I didn't know that.
Damn.
I didn't know he dropped him.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah, some people that I know that were out there while Pacquiao was training it with and Pacquiao and Frankie were training at the same time at the World Card. They've said that Frankie has been the only fighter in a sparring session that has dropped Manny Pacquiao in the sparring session.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys remember, when Frankie Gomez came out of the amateurs, and at that time, Jose Benavides came out of the amateurs, and they were rivals in the amateurs. Top rank signs Benavides. Hey, we got the better one. Golden Boy signs Frankie Gomez. No. We got the better one. Two great fighters from the amateurs. This goes back to the original question. And they didn't make it in the pros. They both had outside distractions that held them back from achieving their goal, or their world title.
Yeah. It's Benavides fought against Bud Crawford, but he got shot outside of his house, and the recovery for that was a struggle. And people were like Molinar saying that the streets caught up to Frankie Gomez. I mean, I don't know the kid. I never met him. I just did his fights.
Molinar knows him very well.
Oh, okay.
Molinar grew up with him, and I mean, I know he was closer with Angel Ojado and everything, but he knows him very well from East LA.
Oh.
This kid had tremendous talent. This kid could have gone in against a Danny Garcia. I just think at times Virgil Ortiz against Frankie Gomez. Fuck, that would have been an amazing fight, because they're very similar. In the ring. They can do whatever they want with whoever they want.
Now,
in that similarity, the only difference is Virgil is very disciplined.
Yeah, it's I forget who asked this question. I think Salem might have asked it. But have you ever seen a fighter who had all that stuff on the outside, the distractions, the not discipline, and still made it?
Coach?
I don't remember I don't recall anybody right now, honestly. I mean, I've seen a lot of fighters have had everything in a silver platter, and they don't take advantage of it. They think they're world champions when they're not even contenders, And that's one of the things. That's what happens to a lot of fighters nowadays. And I'll tell you, I call them the millennium kids, because these kids, man, I mean, they think they have it all. They're moving on. They're barely starting their professional career, and they're walking around like they're world champions. They haven't done anything in the sport yet, but they think they are the greatest. And as soon as they have that test and they don't pass it, they're already done. And that's what happens. It's just like we said in a couple of the last shows that we've done. It's like some fighters can take a loss and recover from it and come back stronger, but some of them are mentally weak to the point where, hey, I lost, and that's it, I'm done. I thought I was gonna be the best and I was gonna be the greatest, but it's not like that. It takes a lot to be at a level where not a lot of people get to.
It's not the same. It's not the exact question that you just asked, but I'm gonna tell you, because Coach is here, and I've always said it. There's overachievers and there's underachievers. To me, and I say with all due respect to the fighter himself, the champion himself, and to Coach Diaz, Tim Bradley, to me, was nothing special. In the sense of talent.
I've always said it myself.
He wasn't the typical speed fighter.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big puncher. So there wasn't anything really like, wow. Now, where he might have lacked in these other areas as a technician, as an aggressive, as a big puncher, he overachieved in the will to win. Yeah. And he trained his ass off. I remember hearing stories where a couple of days before the fight, he would do a marathon, 26 miles. Like, who does that? Nobody. You got to save your legs. But he would do it because I got to mentally know that I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. And Roberto, it was. Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt you, but Tim Bradley was a fighter, and you are right. Tim Bradley wasn't that. He wasn't that attractive fighter that everybody was like, oh man, Tim Bradley. But Tim Bradley had that special thing of him is he always thought of him not being ready. I mean, even if he ran 1,000 miles and did 500 rounds of sparring before a fight, he always had in his mind, it's not enough. I need to do more. I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you a story that happened.
And that's scary though at times because what if you overdo it and you don't lose to a better opponent, but you lost because you left everything on the road work or on the gym or this and that, But this is a kid who, without having a kid, I'm saying because I'm older, but a world champion, a multiple world champion that beat Marquez, beat Pacquiao, won multiple world titles. I mean, came from a small place and overachieved more than anybody expected. I did his first fight with Camponovo. I brought the opponent on his first showbox fight.
Yeah.
And he almost lost. There was a cut or something. It was a close fight, and I'm thinking, they won't call me ever again. He ended up winning, of course, but it was like he did a lot more when it got to the big level than what was expected from him.
Bradley was always the opponent on every single one of his fights. If you look at his record, when he was with Camponovo, obviously he was with Thompson. He had fights that would always benefit him. But after he won that title in England, because in England he was an opponent, came back with a title, and after that fight, every fight he was an opponent. When he fought Devin Alexander, Kendall Holt, you name it. After that, Tim Bradley was always an opponent, and he kept winning. And I'm telling you, there's a story on Tim Bradley that I always say, and how strong somebody's mind is when you really push him. Tim Bradley was a fighter that he always said, and this is for a lot of people that are listening right now to this podcast. I know there's a lot of fighters, and this might help. Tim will come to the gym, and he will train. And if there was somebody out there training with him, he will train until they will leave. And he will say, I'm the first to get here, and I'm the last to leave.
Wow.
Watch.
There you go.
It don't matter who it was. He will train. Even if he was done, he will keep going. Another thing. And then when I would do sparrings for Bradley, I would do let's say, for example, today you're going to do 3 rounds. You're going to do 3 5-minute rounds with 3 different people. So you're going to go 5 minutes with this guy, straight, 5 minutes with this guy, and 5 minutes. And mentally for him is like, hey, coach, I'm breaking down 3 guys. He goes, the other fight is only going to be 1.
But that's where, that's exactly what we're saying earlier, that it's not just the talent.
No.
It's el que trabaja más fuerte, the one that puts in more, that works harder. And that's Bradley.
Yes, Roberto, I would tell him, yes. And then he would tell me, hey, he will run in the morning, he will train at noon, and then he will train conditioning in the afternoon. Even in the heat, he didn't want no AC in the gym. Sometimes it was 120, and he would tell me, coach, the day of the fight is going to be fresh. I'm going to have one guy. I'm going to have one guy. It's not going to be 30-second rest. It's going to be 1 minute. So everything psychologically, he will generate. This is what happens. One time, I called Willie Silva. I go, hey, Willie, I need some sparring for Tim. He goes, okay, mijo. I'll see you Friday. All right. So I tell Tim, hey, Tim, Mauricio Herrera's coming on Friday. Okay, he's doing 6. He's going to come and help you spar. Okay, you're going to do 6 rounds. All right, so I don't want you to run Friday. Take a day off. Or run in the afternoon. He goes, okay, coach. I knew him so well, Roberto.
You knew he was going to run anyway.
No. I told him, hey, please don't run. I need the best of you in the morning. Okay. I mean, because I don't like, when the sparring days, I don't like my fighters to run in the morning because I want the best of them.
Save it. Save it for the sparring.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Save it for the sparring, and then you can run after.
Yeah. If there's anything left or you still have energy, go burn it out. Yes.
Roberto, he opens the door to the gym and he's walking. He's dragging his bag, and I look at him and I go, "Fuck."
He ran.
This guy ran. Yeah.
To the gym.
But Roberto, but this guy, Tim Bradley was not a guy that would run 3 miles or 4 miles. No, talking about 13, 15 miles in the morning. And then when I saw him walk in the door, I go up to him and I go, hey, I told you not to run. You ran this morning, huh? He goes, yeah, coach, I ran light. I ran only 13. So then, okay, we get ready. We're trying to spar. by the third round, Roberto, in the third round, he comes to the corner and he's holding on to the ropes and he's like sitting down, like can't even breathe. He's dead tired in the third round. And I had told Willie, hey Willie, we're doing 6 today, okay? And Tim Bradley, by the third round, he was dead. And Mauricio
was warming up. He was warming up.
Yeah. Oh, I was so mad. I remember I was giving him water, and I reached under his headgear and grabbed him by the back, and I grabbed him like this. I go, what the fuck did I tell you? I told you not to run this morning, dude. I go, look, let me tell you how it's gonna go right now. If I tell Willie right now that you're dead tired and I stop, they're gonna go back over there to Riverside and they're gonna say that you didn't go with them 6 rounds. And you know what? I don't want that shit. Hey, I saw his eyes, Roberto. I go, so you better suck it up right now and wake up because you got 3 more rounds. Roberto, he did better the last 3 than the first 3.
But it goes back. It goes back to that. I want to say it was the Pacquiao fight, where in the second round he hurt his ankle.
He broke his ankle.
Okay, and you told him, you want me to stop the fight or you want to keep fighting? Well, I mean, you pumped, and he said, no, ni madre.
No, he told me after, like, years later, he told me, hey, coach, I'm going to tell you the truth. On that fight, if you would have told me your foot is hurt, hey, I'm going to call the fight, I would have said, let's do it. I'm done. I would have agreed with you because I was hurt. My ankle, I got pictures of his ankle like this swollen after the fight. He goes, but when I came to the corner and you told me, how you feeling? And I said, hey, I hurt my ankle. And you said, you want to go home or you want to keep going? Ignore the pain. And I suffered. And he goes, let's do it. He goes, I fought the fight.
But obviously that's the connection between corner and fighter. Number one, you have to know your fighter. That goes back to what we were talking about, the amateur program. They don't know the fighters. They didn't bring them up. They don't know what makes them tick. Number 2, because he's been through hell. And what I mean by training in 120 degrees, and can you put on the heater, or training with 3 fighters, 5 minutes each, and saying, fight night, I'm only fighting 1. He's been through uncomfortable moments in training that when the fight gets there, most of the time, it's not as tough. And that's how it should be.
The stories are good. As our boy James Crunch Time Wilkins is watching, he says, passion to stay dedicated. And Crunch Time, his story, kid who lived at the Palms Hotel bathroom. That's right. Go and just Google James Crunch Time Wilkins. He's chasing his boxing dream. Recently signed a Golden Boy. Yes, there's a show on him on Netflix. I think, James, why don't you type up the name of the show that you're on and that you were featured in. And wish you the best and just love your story about what's going on. All right, final questions. We've been telling the stories. Couple good questions. No, Eddie, I'm not going to ask about YouTubers fighting Floyd Mayweather. I'm not going to ask about Teofimo fighting Loma because it's not on.
Hey, I got a question. Yeah, that's a good one.
But let's get close. When the fight's closer, we'll break that one down.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because then we talk about it now, and then we talk about it next week, and the week after. The next thing you know, I'm working for Top Rank. Right. You know? But if they're hiring, let's go.
Mr. Do it. Props out to Top Rank. Hey, they got a full schedule coming out.
Yeah, they did. And Christina Poncher
they do.
And does a good job international.
Good fights coming up.
El sol sale para todos, Roberto?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Ahorita no hay sol, pero puta, cuando salga va a haber mucho calor, como allá en Indio.
Roberto, sí sale, nomás que la quemazón no deja ver.
No deja que se vea.
All right, when is Golden Boy coming to Texas? Well, first we got to get through a pandemic, right? It's hard to get a fight in Texas.
No, actually, Texas is opened and opened up a little too soon. But look, we got a world champion coming up. Not coming up, but defending his title in the rematch with Maloney pretty soon. That's probably going to be back at the bubble. We're waiting for the full details. But once we get through our commitments, we'd love for our world champion Joshua Franco to go and defend back home in San Antonio.
San Antonio's good. I can go to the Riverwalk. I can spend some time there. That's no problem. I got drunk with Charles Barkley in San Antonio for Good Laker game.
No wonder he's not a good golfer.
Oh man, I'm a fantastic golfer. No problem. I'll be playing tomorrow morning.
Charles Barkley.
Oh yeah.
Charles Barkley.
Well, I don't golf with him. He golfs at country clubs. I stay with Razzo in Monterey Park. We're ready to go. When will Tonyo be on the show? Should we get Tonyo on the show? I don't know.
Let's give him a chance.
Will Tonyo be able to figure out the computer?
He is a Diaz.
Oh, believe me, Antonio knows computers better than you and me together. Because Antonio, on his free time, he's only playing with gadgets. Antonio is good with gadgets. As a matter of fact, I think Antonio will make your show look better.
So we can have Tonyo on?
Yes, he's a Diaz. He qualifies.
It's up to you, Beto. You're the boss.
Yeah, you are the boss.
Okay.
But he does, because of the last name, he does qualify.
Okay, but Tonyo. Okay, how about we do this? We get Tonyo on for 20 minutes, and then we kick him off.
That's fine. 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, he's gonna know you anyway.
Yeah, in 20 minutes, he's gonna kick all our ass. So.
I was trying to help you out, Tonyo. I thought they were gonna say no. We can keep him on the whole show, no problem. Oh, all right.
Razzo's gonna cut him off because then
yeah.
Razzo's gonna think that from now on it's Tonyo Diaz, so he's gonna have to send it so they can cut his Wi-Fi.
Can we get Tonyo and Razzo on? Oh, okay, now you guys are having a full party. But so
va a ser un Zoom call.
Yeah,
un
so
Zoom. You gotta jump from Skype to Zoom.
Yeah.
No, now Antonio wants a group hug in the shower.
Sí, ya es todo.
I'm gonna call Margarito.
There you go.
No, don't mention Margarito because Antonio starts swinging.
It's wow. And Roberto just poured some more wine. I got a little bit more trago going on.
Got more tequila.
Go more tequila. So we'll finish up this last drink and then we go. Coach, how you feeling? Because last week you were a little sick.
I'm good. Look. No. Hey.
It's empty.
Hey, remember what I talked to you about? I wasn't feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, man. Those tamales that I bought at the gas station really got me sick. So, I mean, for the whole day on Thursday, I was really bad, and then Friday, so then I went to the urgent care. I said,
no,
hey, you know what? I want to.
That bad?
Yeah. Roberto, I'm telling you.
A Mexican went to the hospital?
Yes, because I mean, look at this. I have a team, right? I have a team of fighters. And in order for me to go to the hospital is because I want to know what's with my health, just in case I'm sick. I don't want to get anybody else sick. So I'm going to the building every morning. I wake up, Roberto, and I go to the building, and there's always something to do. I'm cleaning. I'm taking things off, putting things on here and there, right? So I stop at the gas station to get a coffee, and there's a guy that knows the Diaz brothers, because as soon as I got off my truck, he tells me, hey, Joel, ¿cómo estás? Hey, échame la mano, we're selling tamales. Him and his wife, they have a truck, they got a couple of ice chests. Okay, I go, hey, let me get a coffee. So get a coffee, come back outside, and I get him some tamales, and just to help, honestly. I'm not really a tamale fan. So, just to help, business people there. So I got him some tamales, I go to the building, and before I get off the truck, I'm drinking my coffee, and I go, okay, I got a tamal. And lo comí. It was really good, honestly. And then I ate another one, and they were little tamales. They were not big. They were little tamales. So I got another one. So after that, I felt like after I ate tamales, I started feeling like little congestion on my head, and then my eyes started feeling puffy, and then I got a headache. So all day long I had a headache, all day. So okay, I'm not feeling well. I go to the gym, I'm not feeling well. I go home, I take some pain pills, and I come home and I sleep, and I'm not feeling well. At night, I try to take some medicine to go to sleep, and then I'm feeling cold while I'm in bed. And I get up and I put on a shirt, and all of a sudden my whole bed is wet. I'm sweaty.
Oh,
but this is not right. And that was after we did the podcast. And I was doing the podcast and I was drinking tea, but I go to my bed and I'm in the middle of the night. The whole area where I sleep was wet. My shirt, I had to get up the bed and take it off. No, I had no fever. Joel comes and he checks my temperature, and I'm like 97. I didn't have a fever. So I wake up in the morning and I'm checking, and I don't have a fever. I've been checking myself all day, and I don't have a fever. So I told my wife, hey, you know what? Make me an appointment. I need to go to the doctor just to make sure. So I called the guys and I said, hey, guys, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I go open the gym. You guys train. I tell Antonio. So I go to urgent care. But that day, Roberto, I was going to the bathroom like every 5 minutes. I was peeing like every 5 minutes. So I go to the doctor and I tell the doctor what happened. And check my pressure. I'm like 120/80. She goes, hey, you're good. You're perfect. Okay. Shakes my lungs. Oh, you're good. I mean, and I told her, and she says, you know what? It looks more like a food poisoning. Whatever
you weren't throwing up. You didn't have diarrhea. You have
none of that. And she tells me, she goes, two things: dehydration and food poisoning. Wow, really? So I go, you know what? I still want to do the COVID test just to play safe. So then from then on, she did the test, and I get the result the next day. And that day was my nephew's birthday. We go to my mom's house. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to my mom's house because my mom, my dad, everybody. And I told my wife, I said, I don't want to go. She goes, why not? I go, I just don't know where I'm not feeling well.
What if I have?
Yeah. And she says, but I don't think you have it. How do you know? So she starts asking me questions. And everything is no. How do you feel? You feel this? No. You feel this? No. I said, I don't think you have it. Okay, let's go. So we go, and we did a little carne asada, break a cake, but I'm staying away from everybody. Next morning, I get my results. Negative. I'm negative. No. But still, started feeling better. So talking to the doctor, like, hey, you were just dehydrated.
So it was like a 24-hour, 48-hour.
Yeah, it was just
food poisoning.
It was just food poisoning. And dehydration. And that's what it was.
And you still did the show last week.
Yeah, but you know me, I'll take one for the team.
Man,
hey, stop saying that. Don't rub it in.
Yeah, you still did it.
I play hooky ever since I was in junior high. Today.
No. It's I mean, wow. I feel bad, but not that bad. I mean, as long as I'm here sitting and having a good time talking to you guys, and
it was good.
Giving some of the people's answers to some of the people's questions. I'm always up for it.
And I apologized over and over and over, so we're good. So, but everybody's making all kinds of jokes. They said that you should have had some tequila, that maybe you had tamales de snake. So everybody has all kinds of jokes for you.
If I had tamales de snake, I wouldn't be feeling like that.
Gotta love your fans. All right, so this will do it for another edition of
Beto, I just wanna say a special. I don't know. Obviously, people are hearing different things here and there. But Lorenzo, Chiquis, I love you guys. Wish you all the best. And whatever you guys decide, cuenten con nosotros. We love you guys. And arriba.
Oh, yeah. Those are your friends. You've brought them around. So.
Yeah, Lorenzo's a great guy, man. He's, I mean, I became a big fan of him. I follow him, and I always watch whatever he's doing. And from my side as well as Roberto, hey, whatever you need, Lorenzo, Chiquis, we got you guys. Hey, everything, all the support from us too.
I used to work out with Chiquis, That's it. That's all. She knows me. She gave me a bottle of champagne. She knows me. I didn't know who she was because when you're at the gym, it's like not what you think that person is. So I was like, oh, they're like, oh, her name's Chiquis. I'm like, oh, like the singer. I didn't realize that's who she was at the time. She gave me a bottle of champagne, so I'm good. There you go. All right, remember, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We appreciate everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Hey, Coach, all right, before Tonio wants me to ask about what happened with your truck yesterday. Do you want to tell that story?
No,
right? Exactly.
It was just a little accident. Some guy on a bike got in front of me and a little fender bender, and that's it.
Yeah, Tonio's always trying to stir it up. See, Tonio.
Yeah, Tonio always tries to stir things up.
That's why he's not invited.
Tonio is going to be a great matchmaker. He always wants to stir shit up and cause a fight.
Look, let's put it this way: we're good. I'm good. Everything's good. Nothing happened.
See, Tonio, why you gotta be like that?
The only one that's not good right now. Porque sus lentes went that way. Send it.
Razzo.
right, we'll see you guys. We'll talk to you next week. If you missed anything, go back and check out other archives of the shows that we've done them since March, except for the one where I got drunk and told all of you to F off. But if you guys want the special link, I will send it to you, Roberto. I still have it because Coach said some nice words about me, and also because I took notes of all the people that were talking bad about me. So I went back, I wrote down names. I got names in the back. So I'm behind here. I got names for you people. We'll do it again next week and more information.
What happened was this: he's talking, and he got really into it, right? I mean, le salió lo Beto, like, hey, you know what? This is me. So he started talking, and you know what? If you, whatever. So all of a sudden, Roberto, he plays Houdini. He disappears.
So he disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared. He was like, for example, he's talking, and all of a sudden he goes, boom. He just left. He didn't say nothing. He just disappeared and left me alone.
On the show.
Where's
Razzo?
It was just me and Coach. Razzo couldn't do it.
Yeah, so Roberto, hey, he didn't even say, yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Nothing. He just, woof. He just left. So I'm like this, and I'm like, I'm on the show by myself.
So you're asking your own questions.
No. I'm like, what do I say? Good thing that I just clicked for a little bit, and I start talking. You know, I just started
How long were you alone?
For a while, hasta que llegó el baño. I don't know. He did 1 and 2. I don't know. It took him a while to come back.
So what did you do?
I just started talking to people.
That's why you needed Tonio to come in and start some shit.
Tonio would have stuttered. No. It's like, I mean, all of a sudden, he just disappears, se va al baño y me deja solo.
I didn't tell him I was leaving. I just got up and left, supposedly.
So, but you just got up and walked away?
Well, supposedly? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, so then,
Roberto, I don't remember. Roberto, I don't remember that night. I don't remember the last half hour of the show.
See, only on ThursDIAZ could that happen.
Yeah, so then I'm like this, right? I'm like this, and I don't see Beto anymore. And I'm like, It took me a couple seconds to realize he was gone.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back for a while. I started talking to the people that are watching.
And what are the people saying?
Well, remember the comment section, only I can see it. You guys can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
So he's by himself.
So how did you know that people were asking?
He wasn't. He just talked.
I wasn't. I was just talking like, hey, you know what? I just started talking about how we started the show, how good it was, how fun it was, and you know stories stuff. Hasta que regresó Roberto, con los lentes como Razzo cuando se metió.
Please send me the link.
No, I'll send it to you.
Send me the link.
It was the show was 2 hours 45 minutes. It was our longest one, and it was just me and Coach. And the Green Eye Bandit said, I told him that "Do it as un fuck you." I quoted Chavez and Richard Steele. "Do it as un fuck you."
Es un fuck you.
No, Roberto, he went to the bathroom, and he came back a while later, so I had to talk to the people of whatever, we're talking about.
He was feeling
the present and the future, So until he got back, I go, qué bueno que
missed a good one.
Oh yeah, and it's your fault. It's your fault.
No,
your fault because you told me late and you couldn't be here, and Razzo was already. He's like, I'm not going to be there in time. And I'm like, don't worry. Today we're going to do a special Q&A only, Coach. I had the tequila, and it was like right around there, maybe. And I was like, I'll just make some drinks, no problem. I started getting buzzed and getting drunk, and then. It happened. I was like, and then people were like, "You won't finish it," and I was like, and I'm not that guy. Like, if you tell me I'm not gonna do something, I'm like, "You're right, I'm not." There's no peer pressure, but I was like, "No, I knew it." And then I was golfing the next day with Joel Jr. Your son Bobby, and I think he was there, and Razzo, and they were like, "You're not gonna make it in Montebello. You're not gonna make it." Sure enough, I did. So I apologized last week. What had happened?
I was coming back from Cabo.
Yes,
that was my first time in Cabo. I went to Cabo. I got out of here. I said I need to get out of here, and then the fire started. Yeah. Then the other fire started, and
so
I had to come back.
I finished the bottle, and
that was the day I came back.
Yeah, I finished the bottle, Roberto, and I was like, fine, I'm fine. And then the next morning when I wake up, I looked at my messages. And I guess Sulem and Chicano Golf and everybody else are like sending me messages. People made a meme of like Loteria El Borracho and put my face on it. Yes. I don't know who it was. And I was just getting these messages. And I'm like, who are these people? Like, what? And it was like, man, Beto, because I made my video at 9 a.m. I made my video. I'm like, for all you people who doubted me, I'm here. I'm good. And I showed up.
Because you're still loaded.
You can't be hungover if you're still drunk. There's no...
Hey, Roberto, the next day, I was getting videos of Beto through the whole game of golf.
Like an update of how he's doing.
I introduced him to gangster golf, and he's really good at it.
So we were fine. We only played 9. Like, so here, let me give you the recap, Roberto. It's I fell asleep, got up, and I had to throw up. And when I left Joel, I just went to the bathroom, but it took a while to get back because I couldn't find the door. So,
wow.
Yeah.
To the garage?
To the garage door. So.
Okay, so you went to the bathroom. The bathroom's back inside the house.
I didn't go inside the house. I went to Nopales.
Okay. Good thing you didn't fall in the Nopales.
Exactly.
And then you couldn't find the door to get back into the studio. Oh.
That's how bad it was.
So, I was like, I set my alarm. I woke up in the middle of the night. And like I tell you, my parents are 78. They're older. They're quiet. They're asleep by 7:30. I got up and I was like, I got to throw up. I was like, all right, boom, throw up. And I took a shower just to relax. It turns out I fell asleep on the floor of the bathroom and I hit the tub and my mom heard the big noise. My mom can't hear. She has trouble hearing and got up and, "Estás muerto!" And I'm like, I'm good, bro.
So first of all, she doesn't understand why you're speaking in the garage by yourself.
Yes, at all. At all.
And second, she finds you in the bathroom unconscious, casi.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
and then I was like, no, estoy bien. I was like, the tile was good. I went back to sleep, and then in the morning, so my dad is the nicest man. He's just doesn't drink, doesn't do it. Just the nicest person. And the thing is, I don't drink that often. Like I've never been drunk around my parents until this time. So ever. And I haven't been that loaded in maybe 20 years. So in the morning,
now they're thinking fucking COVID's really fucking.
That's what it is. So when COVID started, I moved back in just to make sure that they're taken care of and they don't have to go anywhere. Because I'm the only single one in the family. So I'm here taking care of them. I'm thinking 2 months. We've been here. So, COVID, I'm drinking wine. I ordered a wine rack for my garage studio, right? I start smoking cigars. Ay, el Beto me preocupa. She's telling this to my sisters.
Está cambiando, Beto.
And so the next day,
he gets in this garage and starts talking to himself.
Yeah.
No hay nadie ahí.
Because my mom doesn't know what I do. So she's trying to figure out what's going on. She's like, ahí tienes tu estudio, right? Tu tienda, el swap meet, she says it, right? Behind me. So all these other things. So, and I haven't been working because there's no work. It's just me talking to the computer. So she's just all worried. And so
oh my God, that's hilarious.
So that's what's going on. So the next day I get calls from my siblings. What happened last night? My dad called me. I'm like, my dad. So in the morning I drank a bottle of water and my dad's like, hey, you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Because I felt good because I threw it up. So I'm good.
Yeah, you're still drunk at that moment.
And my dad's like, estás bien, me preocupas. Like my dad should have been a priest, right? Just like, okay, when somebody dies and they one of the neighborhood guys comes in there and he does a rosario, like that's my dad.
They brought a priest.
No, my dad.
They brought a priest for me.
My dad's the one that knows all the rosario and like all that stuff. That's him. And he's like, no, but and I'm like, I was like, when have you ever seen me drunk? ¿Cuándo me he emborrachado? Es de veras, pero es muy demasiado, mijo. I'm like,
Roberto, they brought a priest.
Oh my God! And then
I went to golf.
Probably he went to golf, and had after the cruda gets you're sick, you're throwing up. Ya que pasó, he probably said, okay, let's go get some beers now.
No, exactly what happened. So
y la cosa que
Razzo back.
Razzo was giving him a hard time, and after the game, they go to a bar, and he gets a glass of beer, and he goes, "Hey, no hay problema. I'm not hungover. I'm still drunk."
Because afterwards,
there you go. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know that, but he did it, and then he gets back home. His dad's
I didn't come home because
he shows up drunk.
No, Roberto, I didn't have to. So I was going from golf. I went straight to the Thompson boxing bubble in Corona. So I wasn't coming home. And I told them. So I'm walking out of the house. And I have my bag, my suit, and everything. And they're like, like, just what's going on? So we golf. I'm fine up until the 9th hole. Then all of a sudden the heat got me. And all I had drank was the water. And by the way, I played great. I was fantastic. We had some beers outside. We were good. Razzo took me to Mariscos. I'm a champ. I look at the traffic. I'm not going to make it in time for my COVID test. So I called Jeanette, and I'm like, Jeanette, I can't make it in time. We're good. She's like, don't worry. You'll check in tonight. No problem. Eddie Aguilera.
The show's not that day.
No.
The show's the following
Yeah,
day.
so Eddie Aguilera for Aguilera's Boxing Champions. Of course, I go to my sponsor, Craft Beer Kings, and get some beers for Jeanette Gonzalez from Thompson Boxing. And I'm there. I'm getting the beers. And Eddie's like, I live around the corner. So I go to Eddie's house. I have a couple of Ultras. I'm good. Let's go. He's talking about the show. We're doing a great job. I came away with gifts.
Ay, Beto, te digo.
I was supposed to give that to Razzo because it's size Sabana. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. So then I go, and then I finally get to Corona, and Roberto, the body just, boom, crashes. And I finally look at all my messages, and everybody's like, this, and this. I went back and watched the show. I'm like, oh, fuck. I should apologize to these people. Like, but it was funny, but I'm like, oh, my God.
But
Like,
you don't remember anything of that part.
normally after the show, I'll edit and I'll put the podcast
Yeah.
up on the audio version. Hell no, that didn't happen that night. I closed
No,
my
because-
computer.
Okay, but you don't remember, like, when the people are saying, hey, you said this, you said that. You don't remember none of that?
Roberto,
The last hour, I don't remember.
it's
That's an awesome fiesta, though, man. That's the one I should have
Roberto,
never missed. When you don't remember, that
Roberto,
is cheap.
as long as you've known me, you know that I'm very professional. Even in Vegas, you
100%.
you never see me. I might be at the bar for a little bit, but then I'll leave. I'm never drunk around
100%.
anybody.
I've never seen you loaded.
Yeah, because I don't want people to talk. Because when you're working as the announcer, because the next day it's like, oh, your voice is off because you're drunk, and I just don't like doing that. So for me to get like, even with my friends, I don't get like that. I remember saying this.
The closest I ever seen is one day when you fell off the chair.
But that was it. But I was
ThursDIAZ, but that was because you were laughing and
and I was buzzed. But it was But I remember saying this. I'm yelling, right? I hear myself yelling. That's the last thing I remember saying.
Beto,
Mande.
hey, the other day I get Eddie Aguilera. He tells me, hey, coach, I sent you a present. I said, okay. He goes, I have a friend that lives like 2 blocks from you. I said, oh, great. He goes, hey, what size of shirt are you? I tell him, I'm a large. He goes, okay, my friend says he lives like 2 blocks from you. He's going to take. And then he texts me the next day. He goes, hey, did you get the package? I go, no. Where is it? Well, it should be in your house. I haven't got anything. So I'm asking everybody, hey, they no. So then, did you put it on the mail? I don't know. Let me check my friend. He goes, yeah, but he says he lives like 2 blocks from you. No, 2 days later, nothing. I go, Eddie, you sure? Yeah, my friend says he lives like 2 blocks from you. And he dropped it off. I go, you better double check because I haven't got anything. I went to the mail and there's nothing there. It's there. Yesterday afternoon, my mom called me. Dijo, llegó un señor y te trajo unas camisas. Y te las dejó aquí. I go, really? So, hey, Aguilera.
Oh, your mom's house.
Yeah. So, he doesn't live 2 blocks from me. He lives in my mom's house. You know, so he thought he lived like 2 blocks from my mom's house.
From where you grew up.
Eddie.
Yeah, where I grew up.
Eddie's
Took
messing
my
it all
mom.
up. All right, Coach, did I say this? Leti Areola says, Coach Diaz's fault. He said it was bad luck to leave tequila in that bottle. He said, finish it. Did you do that?
No, she lied.
No. When I first tuned in today, and I'm going to be the middleman, para que vean que todavía funciono, you said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to finish it. And at the end of the show, you weren't finishing it. So Coach Coach started saying, "Fuck you."
Roberto, no.
Not even saying those words, but he said, "Come on, you said he was
Roberto,
finish.
no.
Finish it."
Hey, if he goes back to his to that show that day, when we started the show, he showed the bottle, and everybody know, even Letty Aviola knows.
It was right there.
That he showed the bottle and he goes, Coach, I'm gonna finish this today. And I told him, Roberto, I go,
That's a lot.
I go, Bet, that's a lot. Believe me, I know. I mean, I've seen bottles with the content and that much. The bottles, the width of the bottle is like this, and the content of the liquid is this much. It's a lot. For shots, it's mucho. He goes, oh, I got this. Okay, ándale pues, atórale. So then he started drinking, Roberto. Towards the end of the show, when he already said "fuck you" to everybody, hey, he still had a few shots. And I go, hey, you said you were gonna finish
now
it.
I understand. Now I understand why it went 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yes.
By the time the show was 2 hours, he couldn't finish it yet. So
Oh yeah.
he had to extend it 45 minutes more to try to finish it.
Bob.
Hey, I had nothing. Hey, Roberto, I had nothing to do with it.
Pablo says Coach pumped him up
No.
like one of his fighters.
But when
If you
we
tell
first
me,
started,
if you tell me something, do it, because towards the end he goes, "Oh, that's it, we're done." No. Yeah, you got one more shot.
okay,
Hey,
there we go.
bájatela.
That's what
So
Letty means. That
Yeah.
coach said, no,
I did.
espérate. You said you were gonna finish it. Now finish it, cabrón.
Yes,
That-
yes. Because
And those last two drinks killed it.
oh, Roberto, from the beginning of the show, he said he was gonna finish the bottle, and I go, "Órale pues." I mean, if you told me you're gonna, and I told him from the beginning, I go, "Es mucho,
Much.
Beto, es mucho." He goes, "Oh, I got this." Ándale pues, cabrón, atórale. So towards the end, he still had 2 more shots. I go, "You still got more shots?" And he no, I'm gonna save it. No, ya dijiste, chingatela. So,
Dude,
that's what happened.
I got that picture. Tuto Brenes. Beto.
Yeah.
Hey, Beto, you'll never start a show by saying,
I'm gonna finish.
I'm going to finish it.
Wait. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Coach was in the bubble in L.A., and I'm looking at pictures right now. Marco Favela at 2 hours, 8 minutes said, WTF, Beto. Like, Razzo was inviting people to golf at night through here. It was just at 2 hours, 37, I'm looking at Coach. He has, he's just getting cheers. So it's just, whatever. It was a fun night. And whatever. It was our anniversary night.
It sounds to me that Coach Diaz te fichó.
No. Because
He was drinking water, and he said, come on.
No,
Beto,
because
come on.
you know what it was?
Chígate otro.
It was our anniversary of when we did our first show. And the first show, we ended up wearing helmets. So I got drunk the first night too. But this one, and like I said, I should apologize to everybody, but no, because you guys are bad influences. So everybody there who said I wasn't showing up to golf, because they all made bets that I wouldn't show up, Roberto.
What do you mean it was our anniversary? And I missed it?
No, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. No, well, it was.
La madre.
Yeah.
I'm always missing anniversaries.
Well, it's
All kinds.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Okay.
All kinds of anniversaries.
I was
Roberto,
changing
You
hats.
know how it is. If somebody tells you, I'm going to do this, do it, cabrón.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Don't say you're going to do it, and at the end of the show, you're not going to finish.
Oh, we had a great. And,
Hey, I was just helping them. I was motivating them.
Go, Beto. Go, Beto. You can do it, Beto.
Hey, you know I'm a great motivator.
Yeah.
You want to spill? You want to empty the bottle on the floor, or you want to drink?
Yeah,
No,
like you told Tim Bradley.
Hey, that's what I told them. I go, Beto, you want to go home or you want to finish this shit?
Exactly. And look, Bradley won the world title,
Yeah.
and you finished the pinche bottle.
And I still have it. I'm not throwing it away. Shoot.
No. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Letty and the recent show told him que le va a dar otra.
No.
That 3-liter.
You know what bothered Beto? Roberto? I told him, because the other day I went horse riding. I woke up one morning, fui con Marcelino. Marcelino and I went riding. I go, Beto, that bottle lasted, let's say, 5 months.
Oh, you
I go,
did.
Esa pinche botella me dura a mí. En cuanto ensillo el caballo y me voy a montar y salgo del rancho, para cuando regreso a quitar la montura del caballo ya me la acabé.
Hey, I was
told
even Pepe Gomez that night. I was Pepe Gomez. I was there.
A él le
The
duró
cigar.
cinco-
You smoked the cigar without turning it on.
Yep, turn it on.
Roberto,
I did la de
le duró-
hoy.
Le duró 5 meses. Watch. And you know why I told him that? Because one day they had a St. Jude a St. Jude event here in town. It's a St. Jude to help the kids with cancer, and you go and if you have a horse, you go and I mean we walk like maybe 5-10 miles on a horse. It's a whole day thing. You go and you pay for your horse. It's $40 just to help the kids. And as you go, you ride the horses. They got like 1,500 horses, just riding, just having a good time. And then there's pit stops.
But the kids are riding him?
No. It's people with horses, and it's raising money for kids with cancer at St. Jude Hospital. So if you have a horse, you go and you pay $40 for your horse, and you just go, you just ride. It's like a
so the $40 that you give goes to the kids.
Yes.
Okay.
You're talking about there's 1,500 horses, and everybody's just having a good time, just riding, you know. And there's pit stops way over there, and then there's people selling beer, snacks, whatever, because it's a long ride. So I called my brother Julio, and I go, Julio, vente para acá. So Julio brings his sand rail, and he has an ice chest, and he fills it up with beer. So we're riding horses, right? And at that time, I had a horse that they were barely training, y el caballo estaba todavía...
No llegaba.
No. Estaba todavía... No estaba...
Rough. He was rough.
He was rough. He was like... Roberto, I was drinking since I started. When I got back, I was riding that horse. I wasn't ready to ride that horse. And that day I was so drunk.
Who took the horse from the beginning? Julio?
We did, because we have a trailer. We bring the horses.
So you take it in the trailer.
Yeah, to the place. And then we ride the horses. Pero ese día, I was riding my horse, a horse that is really mellow, you know, just riding. Ya cuando terminé la caminata,
you changed horse?
En el otro caballo está bien brusco. Like, I mean, he could have dropped me, he could have hurt me. Llegué en el caballo bien tranquilo. That's how drunk I was. I was like Beto on the last show. Yeah, because Julio, my brother Julio was on his sand rail riding behind us, and he had a big ice chest, and he was giving us beer. People were sharing tequila, because everybody's drinking.
Okay, but going there, o sea, de salida, you were on the mellow horse. Who had the rough horse?
The guy that trains my horses.
Oh.
So I don't know. Along the road, I told him, "Hey,
cambio. I'm so loaded. Cambio."
I was brave. Tequila makes you brave.
Yeah.
So I go, "Hey,
I know.
I have a guy. I have this man. He's a jockey. He's a professional jockey. He trains my horses. He takes care of my horses. Every morning he feeds them. He trains them. He works them. So he tells me, 'Hey, Joel, this horse is not ready for you to ride. It's still a little rough.' Okay. I mean, this one's ready for your kids. Your kids can ride it. So as we're riding the horse, I'm riding the horse that I've always ridden. Un caballo bien mellow, you know, really trained. I mean, I sent him to school for a year, where they taught him how to dance. He kneels down, he lays down, whatever, right? Y ese día, Roberto, when I got back, otro día, I was like, Beto, like, what did I do? Hey, halfway down the walkathon, the guy tells me, "You told me, hey, get off. Let me ride that horse." I go, "Really?"
You don't remember that.
I remember that.
And you would have probably not done it porque it could throw you off, injure you.
Roberto, if I would have been sober, I would have never gotten that horse.
No, porque igual te tira, te lastima.
Oh, yeah. Pero regresé para atrás en ese caballo.
Y yo regresé al golf course.
Hey, when I saw the pictures and videos, I couldn't believe it that I was riding a horse. Oh. Pero iba bien Beto Duran.
I'm gonna have to bring out the tequila next Thursday.
No. And as Pablo, the guy who made the meme, me being a borracho, says, Beto's gonna fill that bottle with pennies like a true Mexican. And you know what? That's a good idea. There you go.
El primer penny. There you go.
Leti Arriola promised Beto another bottle.
I don't even know who Leti is, but thank you for the first bottle, and I don't need another one, Leti. Like, no.
She's gonna give you another one, and hopefully this one don't last 5 months.
At least 2 months. Para que ya se acabe el COVID.
Puro topo chico. That's all we need. I'm gonna start being like the Argentinians who drinking that what are they? That mata or what is it? The
mate.
That too. We drink both of them. All right, everybody. We'll see you. Thanks a lot for another fun edition of ThursDIAZ as a rate review.
Good to be back.
Buenas noches.
Roberto, we missed you.